Let's step into the crossfire, guys.
These strong new poll numbers, Republicans relaxing about this fall.
You can just ask the debate.
On Crossfire, Republican wave heads 2014. Stirs trouble for
Hillary had to die at a press conference.
On the left, on the right, in the Ted Strickland, the governor of Ohio, Republican President Santorum, conservatives. Trouble is ahead for Republicans. Their tonight, Crossfire.
Crossfire. I'm Newt Gingrich.
Van Jones on the left. Got two big. Now look, the pulling over to numbers. They include released by CNN. He looks like it's edging on a generic ballot. 45 ski remembrances of 20. The president's stubbornly stuck 3%. He's sitting there thinking 14 just going to be of 2010. Remember one thing, Democrats, and we've learned we've made so Republican momentum, the big money, big base, big data, our votes. So we elected a Democratic. Yeah, don't forget about. Don't count your chicken. Seats too early.
Well, I would say big fan, big hopes for things. But we're going to get to that. And the crossfire tonight. A former governor with, and Santorum, the former who ran for president. Well, I also published a new book, Collar Conservative. Let me start with you because, in a sense, came into office as governor when the tidal wave collapsed. In 2010, you had this huge tidal wave as Obama. So you've seen it started. Is
Got you two flying high altitude. Could this happen again?
All of those circumstances, the way they were, short answer, yes. The FAA's, they're working on so that this doesn't happen. If those circumstances very well happen again.
50, 60,000.
They fly extremely high. Air traffic, 70,000 feet.
Two's got a long. For that update, let's hope it caused lots of. Remember, you can always. I hope you do. Tweet Wolf Blitzer. You can always at CNN. Please be sure to join here in the Situation live, of course. Or DVR this a moment. Me, thanks very much. Wolf Blitzer in Washington. Step into the crossfire with Newt Gingrich.
Wolf, even strong new poll numbers, too early for Republicans relaxing about this fall.
Get that right. You can just ask.
On Crossfire, Republican wave 2014 stirs trouble for
Hillary had to die at a press conference.
on the bridge. Ted Strickland, Democratic governor of Ohio, former Republican Rick Santorum, color conservative. Trouble is ahead for a Republican enemy. To crossfire.
Crossfire. I'm Newt.
I'm Van Jones on the left. Tonight we've got two party. Now, drooling over poll numbers just got released by GOP. Looks like it's on a generic ballot. So 45 remembrances of 20. The president is stubbornly stuck 3%. Everybody who's sitting there, 2014 just play of 20 to remember one Democrats. Two, we just say we've made investments. So big momentum, them big money, a big base, use big data for our votes. We just elected a Democrat in Virginia. Don't forget, don't count your chicken. Senate seats.
Well, I have big and big hopes for.
Yeah,
but we're going to get in the crossfire. Can't a former I served with, and Santorum, Pennsylvania, who ran for president in 2012. Well, just published a new book, Blue Collar Conservative. Let me start with you because, you know, in a sense, came into office 6 as governor. Tidal wave collapsed. In 2010, you had the of tidal wave as. So you've seen get started. Sense is
that you two very high altitude. Question: could this happen?
All of those circumstances exactly the way they were. In a short answer, and the FAA's now we know they're working so that this doesn't. And if those circumstances could very well happen again.
It's 50, 60.
They fly extremely commercial air 60 to 70,000.
Wow. You two's got along. Very much for that update. Let's hope because it caused lots. Remember, you can Twitter. I hope you do. Wolf Blitzer. You can at CNN. Please be sure to right here in the situation. Just live, of course. DVR miss for me. Thanks very much. I'm Wolf Blitzer and let's step into the cross with Newt Gingrich. Guys.
Wolf, strong new poll number. It's too early for Republicans relaxing about this.
You got that right. You can just about that right now.
Tonight on Cross, the Republican way in 2014. Obama stirs trouble.
Hillary issue at a press.
Jones, Gingrich, Ted Strickland, Democratic governor, and former Republican candidate Rick Santorum. Blue collar conservative. Much trouble is ahead. Our Republican worst enemy on Crossfire.
Welcome to Crossfire.
And I'm Van Jones. Tonight we've got two each party. Just drooling poll numbers that just got released by GOP. Looks like it's Democrats on a generic 6 to 45 remembrances of now the remain stubbornly 43%. Everybody who's sitting there, that 2014 replay of needs to remember we're Democrats in 2. And let me just say we adjustments. So big momentum, giving them big got a big how to use big data to deliver our vote. We just elected a Democrat in Virginia. Don't count your House and Senate seats.
Have big and big hope. And
Yeah,
we're going to in the cross. Strickland, when I served with, and Rick Santorum, Pennsylvania, who ran for 2012. He's just published a blue collar. Ted, let me start with you. You know, came into 2006 as governor, his tidal wave. In 2010, of tidal wave. So you've seen waves get started since his.
That you a very high altitude. The question: could this?
If all of those are exactly the way, in a short answer, and the FAA's right now, we know they're fixed so that this. Again, if those, it could very well happen.
Is what 50.
They fly extreme commercial air, 60 to 70,000.
Well, the U2's got a long history. Very much for that update. Again, because it caused. Remember, on Twitter, I hope you at Wolf Blitzer, at. Please be sure tomorrow right here in the city. Watch us live or D. Won't miss. That's it for me. Thank you. I'm Wolf Blitzer. Let's step into the with Newt Gingrich, guys.
Wolf, a strong new. I think it's too early for start relaxing.
Got that? You got that right. Me about that right now.
Tonight on as a Republican in 2014, Obama stirs 16.
Zhang shoe at a
Van Jones, Newt Gingrich, fire, Ted, time Democratic and former Republican candidate Rick Santorum of blue collar. How much trouble is a Republican worst enemy on Crossfire?
Welcome to Crossfire. Right.
And I'm Van Jones. Crossfire night, we've got for each party. Are just drooling and new poll numbers that just got released. The GOP looks like Democrats on a generic 46 to 40. Remember, now the rating remains stubbornly 43. Everybody who's that 2014 simple replay needs to remember we're Democrats 2010 too. And let me just say a few adjustments. Have big momentum may have given them. We've got a big, we know how to use big and deliver our elected. We just elected in Virginia. So don't count or your House and Senate seat. Newt.
To have and big happen.
Yeah, we'll see.
In the Democratic Strickland, and someone I served with, Rick Santorum from Pennsylvania, who ran in 2012. He's just published called Blue Collar. And Ted, let me start with, you know, you came in 2006 as governor. This tidal wave collapse. This huge mountain tidal wave as Obama seen these kind of started. My
U2 flies at altitude. Could this happen again?
Circumstances the way they were last. Answer: yes, it is. They're working on trying. This doesn't happen again. Those circumstances will happen again.
And that 60,000
extremely high. Well, traffic 30,000 feet.
Got a long. Let's hope it doesn't cause lots of where you can always follow. You do tweet me. You can always tweet CNN. Please be sure to join us in the Situation Room, of course, or DVR the show a moment. Thanks very much for Pulitzer in Washington. The crossfire, Gingrich and
Wolf, even with new poll numbers for Republicans about this fall.
You can just ask the debate.
On Crossfire, Republican wave heads for 2014. There's trouble for
Hillary had to die at a press conference.
on the left, on the right. In the Ted Strickland, the governor of Ohio, Republican President Santorum, conservatives. Trouble is ahead for Republicans. They're tonight. Fire.
Crossfire, I'm Newt Gingrich.
Dan Jones on the left. Got two big party. Now look, the over to they released by CNN. It looks like it's edging generic ballot 35 scary remembrances of 20. The president's currently stuck 3%. Sitting there thinking 2014 just going to be of 2010. Remember one thing, and we've learned, we've made so Republican momentum, the big money, big base, big data, our votes. So we elected a Democratic. Don't forget about count your chicken seats too early.
Well, I would say big fan, big hopes for things. But we're going to get to that. The crossfire tonight. A former governor and the former who ran for president. Well, I also a new book, Collar Conservative. I'll start with you because in a sense, into office as governor when the wave collapsed. In 2010, you had this huge tidal wave as Obama. You've seen the started. This is
you two flying altitude. Could this happen again?
Those circumstances, the way they were, short answer, yes. FAA's, they're working on so that this doesn't happen. If those circumstances very well happen again.
50, 60,000.
Fly extremely high air traffic, 70,000 feet.
You two's got a long. With an update, let's hope it caused lots of. Remember, you can always. I hope you do. Tweet Blitzer. You can always at CNN. Please be sure to join here in the Situation live, of course, or DVR this a moment. Me, thanks very much. Wolf Blitzer in Washington. The crossfire with Newt Gingrich.
Wolf, even strong new poll numbers early for Republicans about this fall.
That right? You can just ask.
On Crossfire, Republican wave 2014 stirs trouble for
Hillary had to at a press conference.
On the Ted Strickland, Democratic governor of Ohio, former Republican Rick Santorum, conservative. How much trouble is ahead for a Republican enemy to crossfire?
Crossfire. I'm New.
Van Jones on the left. Tonight we've got two party. Now, drooling over poll numbers. Just got released by GOP. Looks like it's on a generic ballot of 45 remembrances of 20. The president is stubbornly stuck 3%. Who's sitting there? 2014 just play of 20. Remember one Democrats. Two. We just say we've made so momentum. Them big money, a big base. Use big data. Our votes. We just elected a Democrat. Don't forget. Don't count your chicken. Senate seats.
Well, I have big and big hopes for.
Yeah,
but we're going to get in the crossfire. Can't a former conservative and Santorum, Pennsylvania, who ran for president in 2012. Well, just published a new book, Blue Collar Conservative. Let me start with you because, you know, in a sense, came into office as governor. Wave collapsed. In 2010, you had the tidal wave. As you've seen these kind of waves. My
Lies at a very, very two. So here's the again.
Well, if chances or last week, yes, it could. Right, trying to get a doesn't happen again, but chances are the same.
And that altitude is 1,000 feet, right?
High, well above commercial traffic, about 6 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Long history. Renee, thanks very much. It doesn't happen again. It's a disruption. Always follow us on Tweet Me. Always tweet the show and Sit Room. Join us again tomorrow. Room. You can watch or the show so you moment. That's very much for watching. Washington. Fire right now and Van Jones.
even with today's numbers, I think to start fall.
Well, you got President Romney. The debate's going to start.
Fire. Heads for Washington. President for 26.
To dodge a flying conference.
On the left, Van on the right, New in the crossfire. A one-time of Ohio. Presidential candidate. The author of for Democrats. Their own work tonight.
Newt Gingrich on the right.
Left in the cross, big voices for. Now look, the Republicans over today's brand. They include some of these numbers. CNN edging out the Democrat ballot about 4. Scary 2010, and the president's approval rating stuck at 4%. Now, thinking though, it's going to be a simple 2010 thing. And we remember we've learned our lesson. A few Republicans may have, the Koch brothers may have money, but we base, and we need to find it. So we just realized Democratic governor about that. So chickens or too early.
I would say you also fantasies, things that ain't gonna get to that in just. and former Governor Ted, Governor of Ohio, and Republican, the former senator from president, and I also served with a book called Conservatives, because I think it's since you office in 2000 on George Bush collapse, and then this huge mountain, this Obama collapse, these kind of
Two flies at a very two, so happen again.
Well, circumstances or were last week, yes, it could. Working on trying to get it doesn't happen again. But circumstances are the same. Yeah.
And that altitude, 50,000 feet, right?
High, well above traffic, about feet.
Yeah. Long history. Renee, I hope it doesn't happen. Lots of disruption. Always follow us. So tweet me. You can always tweet the show. And then sit to join us again tomorrow in your waiting room. You can or the show so you can a moment. Thanks very much for watching. Washington, crossfire right now. And Van.
Wolf, even with today's numbers, I for Republicans to this fall.
You can just ask President Ryan. The debate's going to
Crossfire. Republican wave heads for Washington. President trouble for 20.
Hillary had to dodge a press conference.
On the left. On the right. In the cross. Strickland, a one of Ohio. Republican presidential forum. The conservatives head for Democrats. Republicans their own tonight.
Newt Gingrich on
the left and the two big voices. Now, look, the Republicans over today's they include some of these by CNN. It's edging out the ballot about scary of 2010. The president's approval stuck at %. Now, they're thinking though, just going to be a of 2010 one thing. And we remember, we've learned our lesson. We've made a Republicans made the Koch brothers money base and data to find votes. So we just Democratic governor. Don't forget about that. Chickens seats too early.
Well, I would say you are big fantasy hopes for things that ain't going to get to that in just fair tonight. Can't former governor of Ohio, and the former senator, president, who I also served with a new book called Conservatives, because I think it's, in a sense, office in 2000 on George collapse, and you had this huge mountain wave as Obama seeing these kind of
That you two flies at a two. Could this happen again?
Well, circumstances the way they were last week, yes, it could. FAA's working on trying to that this doesn't happen again. Circumstances are very well happen again.
And that altitude, 50,000 feet.
Fly extremely high, well above traffic, about 70,000 feet.
Yeah. Long. Renee, let's hope it doesn't. lots of disruption. You can always follow. Tweet me. You can always tweet CNN. Be sure to join us again in the Situation Room, of course, or DVR the show a moment. Thanks very much for watching. We're in Washington. Crossfire right Gingrich and Van.
Even with poll numbers, Republicans about this fall.
Just ask the president of the debate.
On Crossfire. Wave heads for 14. Trouble for 20.
Hillary had to dodge a press conference.
On the left. On the right. In the Ted Strickland, governor of Ohio, Republican president Torum, the conservatives is ahead for Democrats. Republicans their tonight.
I'm Newt Gingrich.
Jones on the left at two big voices. Now look, the Republicans ruling over today. They include got released by CNN, edging on a generic ballot. I've scared remembrances of 20 presidents are currently stuck 8%. Now, sitting there thinking that 14 just going to be of 2010 for one thing. And we've learned our to say we've made Republican momentum, the big money, big base data to our votes. So we just the Democratic government. Yeah, don't forget about that. Your chickens and seats too early.
Well, I would say big fantasy hopes for things. But we're going to get to that. Crossfire tonight. A former governor of and the former ran for president. Well, I also published a new book for conservatives. Let me start with you because I think, in a sense, came into office on tidal wave collapse, and you had this huge of tidal wave as Obama seen these get started.
Got you two flies. Question: could this happen again?
Circumstances, the way they were last. Answer: yes. The FAA's working on so that this doesn't happen. Those circumstances could very well happen again.
And 60,000.
They fly extremely high. Traffic to 70,000 feet.
Long. Let's hope it does, because it caused lots of. You can always Twitter. I hope you do. Tweet. You can always tweet at CNN. Be sure to join us right here in the Situation Room, of course, or DVR the show a moment. For me, thanks very much. We're in Washington. Step into the crossfire. Gingrich and
Wolf, even with poll numbers, too early for Republicans about this fall.
You got that right. You can just ask the
On Crossfire, a Republican wave heads 14. Obama stirs trouble for.
Hillary had to do at a press conference.
On the right, in Strickland, Democratic governor of Ohio, Republican president Rick Santorum, conservatives Much trouble is ahead for Republicans' worst enemy. Tonight, fire.
Crossfire. I'm Newt Gingrich.
Dan Jones on the left. You've got two big party. Now look, ruling over numbers. Are they released by CNN? GOP looks like it's edging generic ballot 6 to 45. Remembrances of 20. The president is currently stuck 3%. He's sitting there thinking 2014 just going to of 2010 to remember one thing. Democrats and two, we've learned we've made investments. So momentum, them big money, big base. To use big data, our votes. So we just elected a Democratic. Don't forget about. Don't count your chicken. Seats to.
Well, I was a big fan and big hopes for. We're going to get to in the crossfire tonight. Former a former governor, and Santorum, the who ran for president in 2012. Well, I also published a new book, Blue Collar Conservative. I'll start with you because, you know, in a sense, into office in 2006 as governor, wave collapsed. In 2010, you had this wave as so you've seen started. Is
that you two high altitude. The question, could this happen?
All of those circumstances, exactly the way they were. Short answer, and the FAA's, you know, they're working fixed so that this doesn't. If those circumstances happen again.
And that altitude is feet, right?
Really high, well above commercial, about 6,000 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
History. Renee, thanks very much. Doesn't happen again. Lots of disruptions. Follow us on tweet me at tweet the show and then sit room. Again tomorrow wait room. You can watch or VR the show so you won't. That's it. Thanks very much for watching. Crossfire right now. Van Jones.
Even with today's, I think Republicans to start.
You got just asked President Romney. He's going to start right.
As the wave heads for Washington, President Obama trouble for 2016.
Dodge a flying.
On the left, Van right, Newt in the crossfire. A one-time Ohio presidential candidate, the author of Lives, Democrats, Republicans their own word tonight.
Well, Gingrich on the right.
In the cross, big voices for. Now, look, the Republicans are today's brand. They include some of these numbers, and then it's edging out the Democrats about 45, scary 10, and that president's approval rating at 4%. Now, though, just going to be a simple 10, one thing. And we remember 20. We've learned our lessons. A few Republicans may have, the Koch brothers may have big money, but we know data to find and we just realized the Democratic governor about that. So chickens or you're early.
Well, I would say you also fantasies, hopes for things that ain't going to happen. That in just a minute. House fire tonight. Democrat governor, a former governor of Ohio, and Republican, the former senator from in 2000, who I also served with, called conservatives. And I think it's, in a sense, you in 2000 on George Bush, and then you had this huge mountain. Obama collapse. Seeing these kind of
lies at a very altitude too. So here again.
Well, circumstances or last week, answer yes, it could. They're working on trying to get a happen again, but those circumstances are the same.
That altitude, 60,000 feet, right?
Well above traffic, about.
Yeah. A long history. Renee, let's hope it doesn't happen. It's a disruption. Remember, you can always follow us. Tweet me. You can always tweet the show. Sit. Be sure to join us again tomorrow. You can, of course, or the show so you a moment. Thank you very much for watching. We're in Washington right now. Gingrich and Van.
Even with today's new poll numbers, I to about this fall.
President Ryan, the debate's going to
on Crossfire. It's for Washington 14. President for 20.
Hillary had to dodge a flying conference.
On the left. On the right. In the cross. A one governor of Ohio. Presidential Torum. The author is ahead for Democrats. Their own tonight.
All right, I'm Newt Gingrich on the
left. In the two big voices. Now look, the Republicans over today's, they include some of these released by CNN, edging out the generic ballot about scary remembrances of 2010. President's approval is stuck at 100%. Now, they're thinking, though, it's going to be a of 2010 thing. Democrats, and we remember, learned our lesson. We've made a Republicans made momentum, the Koch brothers money, big base, and to find our votes. So we just Democratic governor. Don't forget about that. Seconds, seats too early.
I would say you all big fantasies for things that ain't. But we're going to get to that in just tonight. Former governor of Ohio and the former senator ran for president. I also served with, published a new book called Conservatives. I'll start with you because I think it's sense into office in on George wave collapse. This huge mountain wave as Obama these kind of started. My
that U-2 flies at a two. Could this happen again?
Well, circumstances the way they were last week. Yes, it could. Working on trying to that this doesn't happen again. Circumstances will happen again.
And that 1,000 feet.
Extremely high, well above traffic, about 70,000
Wow.
feet.
Yeah. Long. Renee, let's hope it doesn't cause lots of disruption. Always follow. Hope you do. Tweet me. Always tweet at CNN. Sit to join us again. Situation room. Or DVR the show. A moment. Thanks very much for watching. Washington, the crossfire right and van.
Wolf, even with numbers, really for Republicans, fall.
You can just ask the president. Debates.
Crossfire. Wave heads for President's trouble for 20.
Hillary had to dodge at a press conference.
On the left. On the right. In the Cleveland, Democratic governor of Ohio. Republican President Santorum. The conservatives. Trouble is ahead for Democrats. Their enemy tonight.
Crossfire. I'm Newt Gingrich.
On the left, we've got two big voices. Now, look, the Republicans drooling over today. They include just got released by CNN, edging out on a generic ballot. I've scared remembrances of 20 presidents are stubbornly stuck %. Now, how are you sitting there thinking that it's just going to be a play of 2010? One thing, Democrats, and we've learned our to say we've made Republican momentum, the money, a big base data to our votes. So we just, the Democratic government. Yeah, don't forget about that. Your chickens, Senate seats too early.
Well, I would say of big fantasy hopes for things. But we're going to get to that. Crossfire tonight. Former governor of served with, and the former who ran for president. Well, I also published a new book, Conservatives. Let me start with you because I think, in a sense, came into office when tidal wave collapsed, and you had this huge tidal wave as Obama. Seeing these get started.
Got you two flies. Dude, question: could this happen again?
Circumstances, the way they were last year, yes, the FAA's working on so that this doesn't happen. Circumstances could very well happen again.
And that 60,000.
Fly extremely high traffic to 70,000
Wow.
feet.
Long. Let's hope it doesn't, because it caused lots of. You can always Twitter. I hope you do. Tweet. You can always tweet at CNN. Be sure to join us here in the Situation Room, of course, or DVR the show. A moment. Me, thanks very much. In Washington, step into the crossfire. Gingrich and
Wolf, even poll numbers, too early for Republicans about this fall.
You got that right. You can just ask the
On Crossfire, Republican wave heads 14. Stirs trouble for
Hillary had to chew at a press conference.
on the On the right, Gingrich. In Strickland, Democratic Governor of Ohio, Republican President Santorum. Conservatives. Such trouble is ahead for Republicans' worst enemy. Tonight.
Welcome to.
And on the left tonight, we've got two big. The Republicans are just new polls. They just got released by CNN. That's on a generic ballot. Remembrances of 20 remain stubbornly stuck. Everybody who's sitting there thinking a simple replay one thing, and we've learned. Let me just say, we've made Republicans may have big, but we've got and deliver in Virginia.
Also have a crossfire tonight. A former governor, Republican Rick, ran for president. With he's and since into office as governor, you had this collapse.
So here's the question.
Or exact and working if those circumstances
50, 60.
Yeah.
Well, thanks very much. Disruptions. Blitzer, you can always watch DVR. That's it for watching. Now,
today's start.
President Romney about
Washington. Trouble.
You at a press conference.
Newt. A one-time conservative. Worst night on
The right.